Putin's empire is crumbling. Not with a bang, but with 1,000 precise strategic cuts. The illusion of Russian invincibility shattered, and the weapon delivering these fatal blows. Drones. Cheap, precise, devastating. Ukraine has flipped the script. What once seemed like a hopeless defense is now an unstoppable counteroffensive, not just on the battlefield, but in the very heart of Russia's war machine. Factories reduced to ash, missile plants silenced, entire military complexes plunged into flames. And here's the truth the Kremlin doesn't want its people to hear. Russia's economy is collapsing from within. An economy now tethered entirely to its defense industry is bleeding out. Yesterday, Ukrainian drones turned the Progress military plant in Cherboksary into a smoking ruin. This isn't just a building. This was the artery of Russian firepower. It produced navigation systems, missile stabilizers, electromechanical drives, key tech for howitzers, Iskander missiles, Kalibrs, glide bombs, and suicide drones. Ukraine used just a few $1,000s worth of drones to destroy hundreds of millions in military assets. It's not just a strike, it's economic warfare at its most efficient. Putin's economy? It's a lie. The so-called growth is a mirage, pumped by factories building tanks that are immediately blown to pieces. Sure, it boosts GDP, but there's no future in a burned-out tank shell. It's the economic version of lighting your house on fire to stay warm for the night. Putin's regime is living on borrowed time, and he knows it. But what does the Kremlin say when factories are bombed? It was just paint, just a little solvent fire. Are you kidding? The smoke is rising across Russia, and Putin is out here blaming the weather, paint shops, and heart attacks. Literally. Just like the Houthis in Yemen once claimed their leaders didn't die in US strikes. No, they died of cardiac arrest inside a burning building. That's the script Russia is now reading from. But this time Russians aren't violent. Lavrov goes on stage, next to American conspiracy theorists and fringe figures, and says with a straight face, Britain did it. Not Ukraine, not drones. Britain, and maybe, just maybe, the US too, out of inertia. This would be hilarious if it weren't being used to justify war, lies, and repression on a national scale. The real tragedy? The Russian people. 50% of schools in Tuba lack basic sewage. Thousands have no heating or running water. Entire generations grow up in medieval conditions, while Putin pumps billions into missiles. Russia is rotting from the inside. But the regime would rather burn its future than give up its imperial dream. And what is that dream? To rebuild the Soviet Union. They're not hiding it anymore. Putin's legal advisors now say the USSR never really dissolved. So Ukraine? It's not another country. It's an internal matter. But Putin miscalculated one thing: the spirit of the Ukrainian people. He thought he'd take Kyiv in 3 days. It's been 3 years. He's lost over 1 million soldiers. And Ukraine? Still standing, still striking, still resisting, still winning. Not with tanks, but with innovation, resilience, and an army of $10,000 drones that shatter billion-dollar illusions. Now Putin is amassing another 50,000 troops near Sumy. He's preparing another offensive, another sacrifice of young men conscripted and forgotten. He drops 25 glide bombs a day, sends waves of troops forward, knowing 8 out of 10 will die. And yet, they come. Because in a dictatorship, lives are expendable. Victory matters more than survival. Illusion matters more than truth. Russia's new drone unit, Rubicon, is pushing deep, 40 km behind the front lines. Fiber optic controlled, hard to jam. Their goal? Break Ukrainian resistance before the West can respond. But Ukraine is holding. Barely. If the summer offensive doesn't shift the map, diplomacy may not reopen. But if it does, just enough, this war could drag on for years. Putin doesn't care about Russia's future. He doesn't care about the living standards of his people. This is about legacy, about empire, about him. And that's why the war won't stop. Not until Ukraine breaks, or until the Russian war machine collapses from the inside. Which will happen first? Stay tuned. Because one thing is certain, this is not the end. It's only the beginning of the collapse.